All right, let's just get right into it. I need to be honest with you, and with myself, really, about something I've struggled with for a long, long time.
Yep, that's me. But I'm not talking about the stereotype you probably just pictured in your head. The truth is, I think most of us are addicts in some way.
So let me ask you, have you ever felt stuck? You know, you find yourself unable to stop doing something, even when there's a voice in your head screaming that it's holding you back. If that sounds even a little familiar, then you're in the right place. Because you see, addiction today looks different. It's the compulsive online shopping, the endless doom scrolling on your phone, the just one more episode that somehow turns into 3 in the morning. It can even be an addiction to work. But here's the most important thing to get. These are not moral failings. They are learned behaviors, patterns in our brains that we can absolutely understand and change. And that is exactly our mission here. We're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden science of why we get stuck in these loops, and then we're going to give you a clear, actionable step-by-step plan to break free. Okay, so to figure out why we get trapped, we first need to take a little trip inside our own brains. It all boils down to this incredibly important concept, the pleasure/pain balance. This idea comes from Dr. Anna Lemke. She's a leading addiction expert at Stanford, and she explains it perfectly. Just imagine a seesaw or a balance scale inside your brain. When that scale is perfectly level, you just feel normal. You're at your baseline. Now, let's say you do something pleasurable. You eat a delicious piece of pizza, you watch a funny video, you get a like on social media. Your brain releases a chemical called dopamine, and bam, that scale tips hard over to the pleasure side. You feel great! But, and this is a huge but, your brain is absolutely obsessed with balance. It's a process called homeostasis. So the second that scale tips towards pleasure, this automatic system that you have zero conscious control over kicks in. Its one and only job is to level that scale back out. And this right here is the moment we get trapped. Because the brain isn't very precise. It doesn't just stop at level, it overcorrects. It pushes right past the middle and tips the scale over to the pain side. Now, this isn't physical pain like stubbing a toe. No, it's that feeling of unease, of anxiety, that intense, nagging craving to do the thing again that gave you the pleasure in the first place. So what do? You do the thing again to make the craving stop. But over time, the pleasure hit gets weaker, while that painful overcorrection gets stronger. And pretty soon, you're not even doing it to feel good anymore. You're doing it just to escape the pain of the craving, just to feel normal again. That's the trap. So how do we break this vicious cycle? How do we get our seesaw back to level? The solution is simple. Now, I didn't say it was easy, but it's simple. It's something we call the 30-day reset. The method is brutally straightforward. For 30 days, you completely abstain from your drug of choice. That's it. It's a total dopamine fast from that one specific behavior. This gives your brain's reward pathways some desperately needed time to heal and finally reset. I know what you're thinking. A whole month? That sounds impossible. And you know what? It can feel that way. But it is absolutely doable if you have a strategy. So let's break down the 4-step action plan to make sure you get through it. This whole plan rests on 4 pillars. First, we're going to become detectives and identify our triggers. Second, we're going to reshape our environment to make it harder to slip up. Third, we're going to find a replacement habit. And finally, we're going to learn how to actually flip the pleasure/pain balance to work for us. All right, step 1, put on your detective hat. The next time that craving hits, just stop, pause, and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Bored, lonely, stressed? Who am I with? What time is it? Just writing down the answers will help you see the hidden patterns behind the impulse. And that awareness, that is the first real step toward control. Next, step 2 is about making your environment work for you. You have to create friction, put a barrier between you and your habit. If you're scrolling mindlessly, delete the apps off your phone. And that leads right into step 3. You have to have an alternative behavior ready to go. Because when a craving hits, your willpower is at 0. So decide ahead of time. Instead of scrolling, I'm going to take a 5-minute walk. The harder it is to indulge, the less likely you are to do it. Now for step 4. And this one is a serious game changer. It's totally counterintuitive, but so powerful. We've been chasing pleasure and getting pain in return. So what if we did the opposite? What if we chose to do something hard on purpose? A tough workout, a cold shower, tackling a project you've been dreading? These things tip the scale to pain first, and the brain's reward is a long-lasting wave of pleasure afterward. You're literally hacking your own seesaw.
So what is actually happening in your brain during these 30 days? Why is this reset so effective? Well, it really comes down to two incredible things your brain can do. The first is neuroplasticity. That's just a fancy word for the fact that your brain is not fixed. It's constantly rewiring itself based on your actions. Every time you give into a craving, you're paving that neural pathway, making it stronger. But when you abstain, you starve that pathway. The connection literally starts to weaken and fade away. A great way to picture this is the snowy hill metaphor. A new habit is like a single sled track in fresh snow. It's easy to steer away from. But a long-term addiction? That's a deep, icy groove. Once your sled is in it, it's almost impossible to get out. The 30-day reset is like a huge blizzard that covers the entire hill in fresh snow, smoothing over that deep track and giving you a chance to carve a brand new path. And the second reason this works is that your pleasure/pain balance finally resets to its natural baseline. After 30 days away from those super intense activities, your brain resensitizes. And this is the magic part. Simple things, a walk outside, a good conversation, a home-cooked meal, they start to feel genuinely pleasurable again. You stop needing a sledgehammer of dopamine just to feel good. So after the 30 days are up, what's next? You really have two main paths forward. For some people, that sled track is just too deep, and total abstinence is the only way to stay on a new path. For others, controlled moderation is possible, but it requires strict rules, like only on weekends or using apps to set hard time limits. You have to figure out which path is right for you. The most crucial thing to take away from all of this is that if you struggle with these behaviors, you are not weak or broken. You are human. This isn't about character, it's about brain chemistry. And simply understanding the mechanism, that is the key that unlocks the door to real, lasting change. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. Looking at your own life, at your own snowy hill, what's the one deep track that's no longer serving you? What new path are you ready to start carving today?